this lecture, we begin a series on intellectual property and artificial intelligence. Here we are going to lay the groundwork for the next several lectures, and we will begin with the clause in the U.S. Constitution that is the bedrock for intellectual property law. We will then define what intellectual property is and look at 4 examples, which include patents, trademarks, copyright, and trade secrets. We are then going to look at 2 other really important terms or concepts that are important for understanding IP and AI, and those are derivative work and fair use. We will conclude by asking some outstanding legal questions that are working their way through the courts right now, and we will at least provide a preliminary answer to one of those questions, which is who can be an inventor? And so in the U.S. Constitution, the intellectual property or IP clause is in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, and reads as follows: to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. I don't think you need to remember this quotation word for word for the exam, but you should know that the U.S. Constitution includes this intellectual property clause. So what is intellectual property? In short, when we're talking about intellectual property, we're talking about intangible assets. These include inventions, brands, new technology, and source code. There are 4 specific types of IP that you need to be familiar with for the exam. These are patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. A patent is a time-limited protection for inventions, and it is the right to exclude others from making, using, or offering for sale the invention. A trademark includes logos, slogans, and brand names. A copyright, within the context of AI, protects technology such as data and code from unauthorized use or reproduction. More broadly, within the context of copyright infringement concerning potential AI system outputs. And this is something we'll talk a lot more about later and throughout the course. One contentious issue is if an individual has published something online, such as original fan fiction, and that online fan fiction is scraped from the internet, incorporated into training data, and then used to train a model. If that model later produces the original fan fiction word for word, or perhaps paraphrases it, could that be considered a copyright infringement? And finally, we have trade secrets. And a trade secret provides a competitive advantage through confidential business information. And a common example of a trade secret might be a secret sauce for a well-known fast food hamburger. Now, when we get to talking about fair use and copyright and artificial intelligence in just a few lectures, we're going to talk more about derivative works and look at some context-specific use cases. For right now, it's important that you know that a derivative work is an expressive creation of an underlying work. And so there's some work, some story, novel, play, for example, that someone then builds on. It inspires this next creation. And this derivative work becomes a second separate work. In order for this second separate work to be a derivative work, that is, not to be a copy and lead to any type of copyright infringement, the differences, the creative expression must be substantial and show the new or second author's personality. Examples of derivative works include translations, cinematic adaptations, and musical arrangements. Another important consideration for IP that you need to know is fair use, and this allows copyrighted works to be used without the author's permission, and specific contexts in which fair use is permissible include criticism, satire, comment, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Now, we're going to close this lecture with some outstanding legal questions. These are questions that are really hot topics right now and are working their way through the courts. These questions include: How do existing IP laws, principles, and protections apply to AI outputs? Are these outputs considered original? If so, does copyright apply? Can AI be named as an author or innovator? If not, if an AI cannot be named as an author or innovator, to what degree must a human be involved for the work to be patentable or copyrighted? And so, for example, and again, this is a hot topic in current events, if a drug manufacturer, if a big pharmaceutical company uses AI to develop a new drug and that drug is efficacious, let's say it cures cancer, can that molecule be patented? And finally, are there laws that limit or prohibit using copyrighted data or works to train AI? And a lot of this we're going to come back to over the next several lectures. One question that may have been answered concerns who can be an inventor. And one case that you should remember for the exam is Thaler v. Vidal. And this case went to the U.S. Court of Appeals, and the court determined that only humans can be named as inventors on a patent. And so Thaler v. Vidal was a case in the U.S. courts. What about in the European context? Well, in Europe, the European Patent Office refused 2 patent applications that named AI as an inventor. In this case, the European Patent Office ruled that an inventor must have a legal personality. And so, at least for now, in Europe and the United States, in order to be an inventor, you have to be human. In this lecture, we answered the question, what is intellectual property? Remember that this is intangible assets, such as inventions, brands, new technology, and source code. 4 examples of IP that you should remember are patent, trademark, copyright, and trade secret. Remember that a derivative work is an expressive creation of an underlying work, and the derivative work becomes a second separate work. Remember that fair use allows copyrighted works to be used without the author's permission. I won't reread the outstanding legal questions, but you should be familiar with them. You should know, not only for the sake of your career, that these are outstanding, ongoing issues that are being resolved in the courts. But you should also remember, at least conceptually, for the exam, what some of these big questions are. Finally, 2 cases to remember for the exam are Thaler v. Vidal and the European Patent Office cases of 2020. Both of these cases at least started to answer the question, who can be an inventor? And again, spoiler alert, it's humans only.